Today, we're going to go on a quest for the perfect piston. It's the beating heart of pretty much any engine. But what's the real difference between a piston that just quietly does its job in your daily driver for 10 years and one that's built for the insane, explosive, and very short life of a full-blown race car? Let's dive in. I want you to just think about this for a second. Deep inside your engine, this one part, this piston, is surviving temperatures hot enough to melt aluminum and pressures that are just, well, they're absolutely immense. It's a straight-up miracle of engineering that it doesn't just vaporize, and it all comes down to some incredible design choices. So what's its day job? Well, in a typical four-stroke engine, the piston is a total workhorse. It goes down, pulling in the air and fuel. It comes up, squeezing that mixture super tight. Then, bang, the spark plug ignites it, forcing the piston down with incredible power. And finally, it comes back up to push all the exhaust out. That simple up and down dance is what turns your wheels. But here's the thing. A piston is basically useless without its backup crew. And its most important partners are, without a doubt, the piston rings. These little split rings, they are the true unsung heroes of the combustion chamber. You see, these tiny little rings have four huge jobs. First, they have to create an almost perfect seal to trap all that explosive force from combustion. Second, they act like a squeegee, scraping excess oil off the cylinder wall so it doesn't get burned up. Third, they're like a heat bridge, pulling all that killer heat away from the piston and into the cylinder walls where the cooling system can deal with it. And finally, they keep the piston from wobbling around. Seriously, without them, an engine would have zero power, it'd burn oil like crazy, and it would overheat in just a few minutes. All right, so this brings us to the first major fork in the road on our quest, how the piston is actually made. And this choice really comes down to two totally different philosophies: casting versus forging. On one hand, you've got cast pistons. You melt a bunch of aluminum, pour it into a mold, and let it cool down. It's fast, it's cheap, and it's perfect for making millions of them. It's why they're in almost every single car that rolls off the assembly line. On the other hand, you have forging. This is completely different. You take a solid chunk of high-grade aluminum, heat it up until it's glowing hot, and then you smash it into shape with a massive press. It is way slower, way more expensive, and takes a lot more final machining, but the piston that comes out the other side is in a totally different league when it comes to strength. So why is it so much stronger? Well, it all comes down to a concept called grain flow. Think of it like a piece of wood. A cast piston is kind of like particle board. It's just a bunch of metal grains all mixed up and held together. It's strong, but it has potential weak spots. Forging, though, is like using a solid piece of oak. The incredible pressure from the press literally forces the metal's internal grains to line up, creating this dense, powerful structure that's just incredibly resistant to breaking. And this toughness creates a super important property: ductility. A forged piston is way more ductile. That means if something goes wrong in the engine, like some bad detonation, it's more likely to bend or deform before it completely fails. A cast piston, which is more brittle, is much more likely to just shatter, which, as you can imagine, is catastrophic for your engine. So it sounds like forged pistons are the obvious winner, right? I mean, more strength, more ductility. What's not to love? Well, like with everything in engineering, there is always a trade-off. It turns out that all that strength and ductility means the piston also expands a lot more when it gets hot. To deal with that, engine builders have to leave a bigger gap between the piston and the cylinder wall. So when the engine is cold, that extra space lets the piston literally slap against the cylinder wall as it moves up and down. You ever hear that noise from a high-performance engine on a cold morning? Yeah, that's piston slap. And over thousands of cold starts, that causes extra wear. Okay, so we've covered how pistons are made. The next big decision is what they're made of. And for the most part, it's a tale of two very different metals. The huge majority of gasoline engines use aluminum pistons. Why? Well, they're lightweight, which is great for helping an engine rev up quickly, and they're fantastic at getting rid of heat. But they're not as strong as steel. Steel pistons are the heavy-duty champions. You'll find them in big diesel engines and extreme race cars. They're incredibly strong, and they expand much less than aluminum, which lets you run tighter tolerances. The big downside? Oh yeah, they're way heavier and a lot more expensive. For decades, that high thermal expansion of aluminum was a real headache for engineers. They wanted tighter, more efficient engines, but the aluminum just kept growing too much when it got hot. And then they discovered a magic ingredient that changed absolutely everything: silicon. And there's a magic number that goes with it.
As soon as the amount of silicon in the aluminum alloy goes above about 12.5%, it becomes something called hypereutectic. And this was a total game changer. Hypereutectic pistons expand way less than normal aluminum pistons. This one thing let engineers design engines with much tighter clearances. That led directly to lower emissions, better fuel economy, and it even made the piston itself harder and more resistant to wear. It's the reason pretty much every modern car you can buy has hypereutectic cast pistons. But check this out. Even in the world of high-performance forged pistons, silicon is still the star of the show. And this table shows the trade-off perfectly. The 4032 alloy has a good bit of silicon, which makes it expand less. That makes it great for a high-performance street car that has to deal with lots of cold starts. But then you have the 2618 alloy. It has almost no silicon, making it the king of ductility and strength. You could literally hit it with a hammer and it would just dent, not shatter. But it expands a ton, making it really only suitable for dedicated race engines that don't need to last for 200,000 miles. So we have the manufacturing process and we have the material. But in the modern quest for the perfect piston, there is one last piece of the puzzle we need to add: a suit of high-tech armor. I'm talking about thermal barrier coatings, or TBCs. These are unbelievably advanced ceramic materials that are plasma sprayed right onto the top of the piston. And their whole job is to act as a heat shield, to reflect the insane heat of combustion back into the chamber instead of letting it soak into the piston. The benefits here are just astounding. A coated piston keeps more of that heat energy working for you, which means more power. It improves the engine's thermal efficiency, it reduces the strain on your cooling system, and it helps the fuel burn more completely. And get this, some studies show that the right coating can extend the life of a piston by as much as 300%. It is an absolutely incredible upgrade. So, after going through manufacturing, materials, and even high-tech coatings, what have we actually learned on our quest for the perfect piston? Well, one of the best ways to think about it all comes from this really simple analogy. Engines are just like shoes, right? You wouldn't wear hiking boots to a wedding, and you wouldn't wear fancy dress shoes to go climb a mountain. The same exact logic applies here. And what that means is that there is no single best piston. The quiet, efficient, and super long-lasting hypereutectic cast piston is absolutely perfect for the daily driver that needs to survive a decade of cold starts and commutes. And the noisy, super strong, and ductile forged 2618 piston is perfect for the race engine that's going to get rebuilt after every season anyway. Perfection isn't about one single part. It's about matching the part to the mission. And that really leaves us with just one final thought. The engine in your car, is it built for endurance, like a marathon runner, designed from the ground up for efficiency and longevity? Or is it built for a short, violent, explosive burst of power, like a 100-meter sprinter? The answer's right there, beating away inside the heart of your engine.